This is the third and final ritual in my series of personal and portable ones. As such, it's the culmination of the series that began with learning and balancing yourself with the elements, and then developing an understanding of and a relationship with the god and the goddess. It is intended to be the crown of the series, and will be ineffective or effective but unsafe if you haven't mastered the other two rituals in the series. For that reason, and because this ritual will make more sense if you listen to the explanations of them, I highly recommend that you go to those other ones first. There are links to them in the description. The reason why it's so important that you master the other rituals before attempting this one is that it enacts the central mystery of Wicca, the sexual union of the god and the goddess. It is this union that in Wiccan theology is the source of the continual recreation of reality, source of its existence and power. The final goal of Wicca is to make an awareness of this mystery a constant presence in your life. However, such an awareness is dangerous if you haven't been prepared for it by developing a balanced mind, body, and soul. It would simply be too much to handle. It would be pouring wine into an unfired pitcher. It is the intent of the first ritual to prepare you in this way. It is also necessary to be able to have a clear awareness of the presence of the god and goddess. Otherwise, how will you be able to experience their union? That's why you need to master the second ritual in the series. This one is a form of what in traditional Wicca is called the Great Rite. It's the main part of the third degree initiation, a degree that's only attained after several years of training. If someone who's a member of a coven being taught by qualified teachers takes that long to be ready, how much more difficult must it be for someone working on their own? So take your time with the other rituals before trying this one. The wait will be worth it. The Great Rite, as it is practiced in traditional Wiccan covens, can be either in actuality or in token. Performing it in token is the more common and involves plunging a ritual knife into a chalice of wine. When it is done in actuality, it is sexual intercourse between the high priest and high priestess. As a rule, this is done after the members have absented themselves. In the version given in this video, it is literally done in token, with tokens taking the place of the god and goddess, the knife and chalice, and the high priest and high priestess. There are three basic ways you can perform this. You can be as an observer, or as envisioning yourself as either the god or the goddess. Further, you can envision yourself as either active or passive. This will be shown in the ritual by which token you put on top. Don't think of these as value judgments. In fact, one point of the ritual can be to understand the value of the passive. As Aleister Crowley said, "Soft and hollow, how thou dost overcome the hard and full." Further, the passive is actively accepting, and the active is submitting itself to absorption. There are therefore 6 ways you can perform this. These combine the observer, god role, and goddess role, in any of which either participant can be seen as either active or passive. Try out all 6. You'll probably find one to be easiest. That's not the one you want to concentrate on. The ritual is meant to be transformative. Instead, work on the one you're most uncomfortable with. For frequent use, though, I recommend the observer role. It's good to do it this way at least a few times before trying out the other versions, and between those performances, first to prepare yourself, and second to incorporate changes resulting from the ritual. The Great Rite portion is embedded in the second ritual, which is itself embedded in the first ritual. This way it will be a natural outgrowth of your work so far. I'll first perform the ritual while explaining it as I go along, and then straight through. I won't be explaining the parts belonging to the first and second rituals. For explanations of them, see the other videos in this series. You begin with the circle and the elements. By air I am made pure to perform the sacred. By fire I am made pure to perform the sacred. By water I am made pure to perform the sacred. By earth I am made pure to perform the sacred. Now purified, I may call on the pure. In this ritual, an aspect of the elements that remained undeveloped in the first 2 rituals appears, which is the sexual alignment of the elements. Air and fire are male, and water and earth are female. The elements are therefore taking part in the Hieros Gamos. Think about this as you put each token in its place in the circle. May air be here, pure and unmixed. May I live in its presence and under its influence. May fire be here, pure and unmixed. May I live in its presence and under its influence. May water be here, pure and unmixed. May I live in its presence and under its influence. May earth be here, pure and unmixed. May I live in its presence and under its influence. Spirit girds me about the protecting circle of air and fire and water and earth. Spirit dwells within me, the center of all, of air and fire and water and earth, enclosed and unclosing the perfect mixing of the unmixed four. Here there's a short meditation on the presence of the elements, on the nature of each of them, and how they both form and are formed by spirit, including awareness of their sexual identity and how that works with their combining in the spirit. When I do the run-through of the ritual without commentary, I'll just pause a few seconds during the meditations to keep the power from building, because watching someone meditate is boring. Meditations are extremely important parts of the ritual, however, so don't continue until you think you have them right. Now you proceed to the part where they call on the goddess and the god. I ask the goddess, maiden, mother crone, to come to be with me here today, that I might know and worship you. Silver moon and verdant earth, bring it to life with all that is. Here in the center where you ever dwell, my praise and love I offer to you, dwelling always with all of your blessings. I ask the horned god, slayer and slain, wild and tame, to come to be with me here today, that I might know and worship you. Golden sun and shining sky, engenderer of all that comes to be, here in the center where you ever dwell, my praise and love I offer to you, dwelling always with all of your blessings. In order to fully experience the power of the ritual, you'll want to identify yourself with one of the deities, starting with the one which is of the same sex as you. This is one of the reasons why it's important to have mastered the second ritual before trying this one. You need to have a firm understanding of what sort of being you are identifying yourself with. As you manipulate the token associated with that deity, try to find within yourself things that make it what it is. If you don't find them there, imagine them. Do this often enough and you will find them. After you've done this ritual many times, try taking the role of the opposite sex from you. Work at understanding what it would be like to be that sex. What would their understanding of the hero's Kamas be? The mysteries performed in the center may be performed here. Up to now, the ritual has been the same as the second one in the series. This is to prepare yourself for the second part of the ritual, the Great Rite. Here is where you'll be approaching the mystery, and if you're ready for it, experiencing its power and learning its lessons. I thought of writing words for this part, but decided that I couldn't improve on the traditional Gardnerian ones. Pick up the goddess token. Assist me to erect the ancient altar at which in days past all worshipped, the great altar of all things. For in the old time woman was the altar, thus was the altar made and placed. Put the goddess token down on top of the spirit token. And the sacred place was the point within the center of the circle. The line, the sacred place, was the point within the center of the circle is one reason why a circle with a dot in it is a good symbol for the spirit. This line of thought is reinforced by the spirit token being itself a point within the center of the sacred circle you created by invoking and placing the elements. It has two more important meanings, though. It is first the yoni at the center of an extended woman. When the great rite is performed in actuality, the woman lies so that her yoni is in the circle's center. Second, this is a foreshadowing, in which the circle represents the female and the point the male. But why is the great rite performed in the same place where the spirit is placed? It's because first it is through the spirit that the goddess and the god approach each other, and it is the spirit that they, opposite and complementary, share, so as to provide a space in which they can join. Second, the spirit is born from their union. We've seen how the elements are born from the spirit, and that it is thereby that the cosmos has its origin and derives its structure, and in return it is from the elements that spirit is formed. This back and forth, this reciprocity where each level is both the origin and result of the other, is one of the important aspects of this ritual, and the internalization of its lessons is one of the ritual's purposes. And of course, continuing with the reciprocity theme, having developed the lesson of reciprocity within yourself will increase the ritual's power. The relationships develops into a creative feedback loop. So to continue. As we have of old been taught that the point within the center is the origin of all things, therefore should we adore it. Therefore, whom we adore, we also invoke. Here you pause a second to separate the introduction from the invocation. O circle of stars, wherever our fathers but the younger brother, marvel beyond imagination, soul of infinite space, before whom time is ashamed, the mind bewildered, and the understanding dark, none to thee may we attain unless an image we love. Therefore by seed and root, by bud and stem, by leaf and flower and fruit, by light and life do we invoke thee.
O Queen of Space, O Jewel of Light, continuous one of the heavens, let it ever be thus, that men speak not of thee as one, but as none, and let them speak not of thee at all, since thou art continuous. For thou art the point within the center of the circle which we adore, the point of life without which we would not be. And in this way, truly I erected the holy twin pillars. In beauty and strength were they erected, to the wonder and glory of all men. In the great rite and actuality, the pillars are the woman's breasts. At this point you pause and grasp the goddess token in your thumb and forefinger. Altar of mysteries manifold, sacred circle, secret point. Pick the token up. Thus do I sign thee as of old, with kisses of my lips anoint. Kiss the token. Open for me the secret way, the pathway of intelligence, beyond the gates of night and day, beyond the bounds of time and sense. Put the token back down and spread your arms in a gesture of recognition and respect. Behold the mystery of Rite, the 5 true points of fellowship. Put the God token on top of the goddess token. This is the holiest part of the ritual. Here where the lance and grail unite, and feet and knees and breasts and lips. When you perform the act of union with the tokens, envision you are actually doing so with the deity you aren't identifying with. What does it mean to unite with that which is complementary with yourself? What do you gain? What do you lose? What do you now understand? What can you never understand but only rest in awe of? This ends the traditional words and the ritual continues with my own. You now declare what it is you've done and internalize it by picking up the deity tokens together and holding them against your heart. Here are the two conjoined in mystery, greatest of rites, as they join in ecstasy, the yoni and the phallus in love conjoined, the womb and the seed in love combined. Goddess and God, as you unite together, may I be found in your love, may it be found in me. Here's where you must experience what you've tapped into. You'll need to pull on everything you've learned by mastering the other rituals. Hold the balance, be aware of the 4 elements and the relationships, be aware of everything the goddess is, everything the God is, and then let all that merge into one, none of the parts losing its individuality, but only existing in connection with all other things. Allow it all to merge into one moment of ecstasy, a moment that lasts as long as is right, and then fades away. And then run through, I'll again be only pausing for a few seconds. When the time comes, put the tokens back down. Keep your fingers touching them a few moments more while you meditate on viewing the mystery from the outside. You aren't participating anymore, only adoring. When the time is right again, take the God token off the goddess token, put it where it had been. Do the same with the goddess token, and then touch them at the same time, one with your right middle finger and one with your right index finger. Even when separate, forever conjoined, this their mystery, continually renewing, continually renewed. The rest of the ritual returns to the framing you mastered in the first 2 rituals. You unwind what you've done, giving the ritual a symmetrical structure. You're going to bring the ritual's effects into your daily life to continue to work on you even on an unconscious level. God and Goddess, my love and my praise, for your presence and power and love, may you continue to bless me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. May the presence of earth continue to work in me throughout the day and all of my days and all of my life. May the presence of water continue to work in me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. May the power of fire continue to work in me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. May the power of air continue to work in me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. May the power of spirit enclose and infill me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. It is done, it is done, it is well done, the work is well done, and will continue to work throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. So be it. Now I'll run through the ritual without commentary. By air I am made pure to perform the sacred. By fire I am made pure to perform the sacred. By water I am made pure to perform the sacred. By earth I am made pure to perform the sacred. Now purified I may call on the pure. air be here, pure and unmixed. May I live in its presence and under its influence. May fire be here, pure and unmixed. May I live in its presence and under its influence. May water be here, pure and unmixed. May I live in its presence and under its influence. May earth be here, pure and unmixed. May I live in its presence and under its influence. Spirit girds me about the protecting circle of air and fire and water and earth. Spirit dwells within me, center of all, of air and fire and water and earth. Enclosed and enclosing, perfect mixing of the unmixed four. I ask the goddess, maiden, mother crone, to come to be with me here today that I might know and worship you. Silver moon, inverted earth, bring it to birth of all that is, here in the center where you ever dwell. My praise and love I offer to you. Dwell in me always with all your blessings. I ask the horned god, slayer and slain, wild and tame, to come to be with me here today that I might know and worship you. Golden sun and shining sky, engenderer of all that comes to be, here in the center where you ever dwell, my praise and love I offer to you. Dwell in me always with all of your blessings. The mysteries performed in the center may be performed here. Assist me to erect the ancient altar at which in days past all worshipped, the great altar of all things. For the old time woman was the altar, thus was the altar made and placed. And the sacred place was the point within the center of the circle. As we have of old been taught that the point within the center is the origin of all things, therefore we adore it. Therefore whom we adore we also invoke. A circle of stars were her fathers, but the younger brother, marvel beyond imagination, soul of infinite space, before whom time is ashamed, the mind bewildered, and the understanding dark. None unto thee may we attain, unless thine image we love. Therefore by seed and root, by bud and stem, by leaf and flowered fruit, by light and life do we invoke thee. O Queen of space, O jewel of light, continuous one of the heavens, let it ever be thus, that men speak not of thee as one, but as none, and let them speak not of thee at all, since thou art continuous. For thou art the point within the circle which we adore, the point of life without which we would not be. And in this way truly I erected the holy twin pillars. In beauty and strength were they erected to the wonder and glory of all men. Altar of mysteries manifold, the sacred circle, secret point, thus do I sign thee as of old, with kisses on my lips anoint. Open for me the secret way, the pathway of intelligence, beyond the gates of night and day, beyond the bounds of time and sense. Behold the mystery of Rite, the 5 true points of fellowship, here where the lance and grail unite, and feet and knees and breasts and lips. Here are the two conjoined in mystery, the greatest of rites as they join in ecstasy. The yoni and phallus and love conjoined, the womb and seed and love combined. Goddess and goddess unite together. May I be found in your love. May it be found in me. Even when separate, forever conjoined. This their mystery, continually renewing, continually renewed. God and Goddess, my love and my praise for your presence and power and love, may you continue to bless me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. May the presence of earth continue to work in me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. May the presence of water continue to work in me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. May the presence of fire continue to work in me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. May the power of air continue to work in me throughout this day, all of my days and all of my life. May the power of spirit enclose and fill me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. It is done, it is done, it is well done. The work is well done in me and will continue to work in me throughout this day and all of my days and all of my life. So be it.